Rolling. Check. I think I'm pretty good. I'm usually pretty good.
How am I? Check. Chickadee check. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check. Checked.
I think that's pretty good.
We're checked.
Oh, that's really, really good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just good because
so good.
Because things are bouncing around.
Everything's bouncing around. It's so good.
Yeah, like when I get really loud like this, I pick up on yours just a little bit.
Okay.
But
that's what I was actually curious about in here because we were real echoey in here until we put the rugs in, and we're obviously have some more sound treatment in here, but it's not as bad as it was.
No, it's nice.
Okay, because these are all soundproofed walls.
Yeah.
Real weird furring strips and such. I have no idea. Neighbor's not going to hear it if you murder me, so there's that. Other things can happen in here that neighbors won't hear about too. And then I was like, oh, that's a bad thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I need blinds for those windows.
Yes, at some point. Yeah.
At
some point. I should probably turn my phone off just in case.
Since it's been blowing up.
Yeah.
These days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, we won't prolong this. We'll just got to get some shit off our chests. It's been too long. You start us off, T. How are we going to do this? What do you want to do? Just in case you want to use this material.
Okay.
We should make this in case usable.
What's the date? The 28th. It is November 28th. It has been 13 days since we've recorded anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for the delay.
I want to stop you there. Do not apologize. We shouldn't apologize when we need time, right? And I saw your message out on social media that said you needed a mental health break, right? And you just needed you needed a moment. And I was like, dang, that's so inspiring to me because I don't usually take a moment when I need a moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I haven't done shit this week.
But you just fucking did it, though. You just did it. You were just like, you know what? Fuck it. I need to take a moment. And it's not that it didn't impact you. I watched it impact you. I watched you feel frustrated and upset that, say, you weren't going to get an episode out there or that, you might be letting people down. And so I could appreciate that. But you also still took the step to do it. And I have so much to learn from that because that's been an interesting, it made me tell you this week recently that I was not okay. It's this thing, you reminded me of this probably pretty early on in you guys engaging me on the podcast. And you had said, there's this whole notion of people don't generally just ask other people, how are you? Right? And that's something that you're good at. I will tell you that. And I don't think many people are good at that. And so it made me feel not only okay, but compelled to tell you this week that I was not okay. And I know I told you it was crazy because I don't tell people that I'm not okay. And it felt good to tell you that. It is the reason we're sitting here right now because I told you not only do I have to tell you I'm not okay, but I wanted to come talk about it. Mm-hmm. Also something that I don't do. And so that was super helpful. And you told me this helps you. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I need fucking time off because I need to reprioritize some shit. I told you, I kept sending you guys the fucking the R. Kelly gif, the GIF or whatever where he's fucking, y'all killing me with this shit.
You have. And we just kept taking it as a joke, right? But isn't that how it normally goes, right? We take it as a joke. Like, oh, that T, he's so funny.
Like, y'all fucking killing me with this shit.
And we just kept going, oh, T, he's funny. Edit another episode. Is that going to be out on Friday? At 6 p.m. Eastern? Yeah, like, we just rode you.
Fucking, I was like, I'm tired and I'm fucking lasers in my eyes that kept me up. I haven't been sleeping right.
You've had a lot.
Not to mention, yeah. Well, just not to mention, just I haven't slept like a whole night since I've been here.
We should probably recap, right? So you noted the date. You noted that we haven't recorded, but even when we recorded, we haven't put those episodes out yet. And a lot has been going on. A lot has been happening. And here we are right now. We should note, one, Safe is not here tonight, right? This is usually how we like to roll. That was just me saying that. It's funny. We may be breaking in the Dick Francisco studio without him for the first time.
Oops.
It happened. So we are live on air recording in the Dick Francisco studio.
We even have
for
the
first
sign.
Time. We even have a sign that says on air right now.
Should take a picture of that.
We're going to have to take a picture of that.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a picture of it.
Yeah,
and I'm
totally.
going to post that on social media to let everybody know that we're coming back.
We're coming back.
And he's going to be like, he's going to see that. And he's going to be like, wait, on air where?
You have to take a picture of the sign and then our studio setup. Because, spoiler alert, the studio is not completely done yet with our full setup and all the equipment in here. But T and I are making it work tonight. And it's working just fine. And yeah, so Safe is not with us tonight. He is unaware that this is happening. But, you know, we needed to do this. We needed to kind of regroup. We needed to come and talk about our mental woes. And, you know, we're human. So it happens. We needed a freaking break. T, you weren't the only one who needed a break, right? Everyone needed a break.
It's the holidays. Everybody needs a fucking break.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is what pisses me off, right? So I make this comment. Safe reaches out to me even though he's not in town. He, you know, sends me this message. And I just said to him, oh, having a rough week, got hit with a bout of depression. And depression for me is one of those things that doesn't happen often anymore. You know, you guys have listened to previous episodes, specifically when I talked about endometriosis and some of my mental health associated with it and some of my journey with animal organs, to not have to deal with that as much anymore, that I've really kind of gotten just, you know, my body chemistry under control. And so it doesn't happen often, but it hit me this week. I felt it kind of setting in on, I think it was Monday maybe. And Safe says to me in this message though, oh, I didn't know you still get depressed. And I was like, I don't, sucker. And so like, that's why. And like this immediate response to like, and it wasn't even him saying, it was just like in general, this idea that, oh, it must be because of the holidays. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, it's just happening to correlate. Not that I'm dismissing that it could be related. It's more the way depression works for me is my life is freaking great right now. Doesn't matter. Depression hits.
Yeah.
How confusing is that?
Oh, yeah.
How do you explain that to somebody who looks at you and goes, but there's literally nothing wrong in your life right now? I'm like, correct. Because you were even polite enough to ask that. You were like, well, what's going on though? Because maybe we can then like kind of tackle this. And I'm like, nope, everything's fucking great, T. Life is amazing. And I'm fucking depressed. Shit. So am I supposed to just write it off that it's the holidays?
I mean, I don't know if you don't have a clear-cut answer. For me, that's why I have so much alone time that I can ask myself why over and over, and I usually get somewhere with it, but that's more my...
But mine has always been more like chemically induced, like something off in my brain. So here's the problem. 1, drinking. 2, not the reason. It doesn't happen because I drink alcohol. It's just alcohol doesn't help, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a depressant, everyone. But then I also I've been not weaning, just like not taking as many brain supplements as I normally do, just like the desiccated brain organs. Whatever episode that was, listen to it, it'll all make sense. I haven't been doing that because I was like, oh, my next bottle doesn't show up until December 6th. Now, don't get me wrong. I could just go buy one. But I'm like, no, it'll show up on December 6th. So then I start cutting back on that. And the next thing you know, but I'm like, I don't think I'm dependent on it. And then I spiral out of control. Because then I'm like, oh my God, do I have to have brain in order to survive? I don't think so, but
they've got you hooked.
They got me fucking hooked. No, I don't know.
I mean, I don't survive on brains.
I know,
so.
That's true. And I don't think I need it. I know I don't need it. I think I just got hit. Here's what happens. I get hit with it. It starts to like set in. And if I don't talk about it and I let it kind of just sit there and I do spend that time with myself, it's not bad to spend that time with myself, but I'm definitely somebody that needs to talk about it.
That's why I have a podcast.
I know. That's why I told you we had to record this episode, because I don't talk about it. And like, I don't know how to talk about it. How do you talk about it with people who don't experience it? I know I can come talk to you because you experience it.
Oh, with people, this is why I have no friends.
Is this where we go, cue two depressed people laughing? Ha 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 ha.
Right? Because
okay.
I haven't really figured it out. Because I think people just think it's like being sad.
Yeah. And then like, stop it.
Yeah.
Right? You're in control of that. So like, stop it. And like, don't get me wrong. You know how much time I spend talking about being in control. Yeah. All these are choices. Yeah, totally. Except when this happens, it's for me, not a choice. It's a choice if I work through it or not. So obviously I choose to work through it and quickly, because that's my choice to not stay in it and have to acknowledge that. But I'm not choosing to be depressed. Who would do that?
Oh, yeah. Nobody pretends to be depressed. I think people pretend to be happy to get through depressed times.
Agreed.
You know, because everybody's cognizant that being in a happy environment makes everybody more productive, comfortable, happy, right? But there's times where I just don't give a fuck. And like when I had to, that's the best part of doing what I do now, is I can just be like, all right, nope, shut it down. I'm going to fucking take some time off and just do whatever. I'm going to hang out with Frank. I'm going to love up on my dog. I'm going to just chill. I'm just going to literally chill. Like, and just, somebody told me recently that we are human beings. We're not human doings. So we can just be.
I dig that.
So we can just be, right? We can just be. Like, we could just get up, like, because that's all I want to do in life. Everybody asks me, like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your dream job? I'm like, my dream job? Like, no, my dream life is to get up in the morning, make food for me and my dog, and then, like, walk around with him in nature.
Like, exist.
Just, that's it. I don't want to have to work too much.
Well, because I will say this about you. You love to contribute, though. You love being creative and you love contributing, but not under the guise of work, right? Where is Jack Torso? This is like Jack Torso's freaking mantra in life, too.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So I want to just do what I want to do on my time. So if I have some cabin in the woods somewhere with my freaking dog, I'm going to have plenty of time between hanging out and cooking meals I'm already working on music.
Right. Which I've been really happy about. I will tell you, during this period of time, as I've been working through whatever this feeling was for me that was not enjoyable over the last several days, you sharing with me that you were going through the creative process was already exciting to me. It was helpful.
Annoying as fuck.
I know, I'm just but that's okay.
Learn where all the
struggle
buttons
is beautiful. It's a beautiful struggle.
Trying to learn where all the buttons are, but
I love it.
Definitely not a country song. I thought it was getting close to it. Well, that's the thing. There's no guitars or anything involved.
Okay,
but it's just annoying because I hear a different song in my head than what I produce. So I'm just like, okay, this has to be like a piano version of that song until I have all of the measures necessary.
Okay.
And all the tools necessary.
So
I need an electric guitar.
Yeah, you do.
That's the one thing I don't have.
I think there's about to be one in this studio pretty soon, FYI.
Because if I have that, because you can, like I was describing to you with the MIDI keyboard and everything, you can produce electric guitar sounds.
Right.
And that's maybe good for like a melody type
Sure.
kind of thing. But like when you're doing like strumming, the difference between strumming down and strumming up, like you're striking different strings at different points in time.
Right.
So you're going from the fat strings to the skinny strings. And then when you're going on an upstroke or an up pick, you're striking the skinny.
All of this is very, very erotic speak
right
here.
The fatter ones, the skinny
fat
ones,
and the skinny ones, and
Mm-hmm.
the strokes
Mm-hmm.
up and down.
Mm-hmm.
T, keep going, keep going.
Oh yeah, I mean music. We were supposed to do
Language of love.
Yeah, we were supposed to do another music episode because I feel like there was a lot more to talk about. But yeah, I mean it can definitely set the tone.
I feel like another music episode's going to happen. Don't say we were supposed to. It's going to happen.
Oh, it'll happen. Yeah, it was I think supposed to have already happened.
Oh, got it. Well, but we all needed a mental health break, right? We will speak for Safe as well in this. The reason he is not here, I think, is because he needed one too and had to,
Yeah, everybody needs a fucking break. Everybody chill the fuck out.
So everyone's taking a break now. So that's good. It was just, this is the unique thing. T, you and I, this is how we also take a break though. We get creative and we want to talk. We're talkers, right? And so I'm like, I need a break, but I also need to talk about my break that I need. Can I talk about my break with somebody?
Yes.
And that's so different for people because they're like, well, okay, we're just going to leave you alone when you're feeling depressed. Like, we can tell something's not okay with you. So let me just leave you alone until you're okay.
Yes.
And I'm like, worst. That's the worst.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck.
It's not that I shouldn't be left alone or can't be left alone. And in fact, I will create my own space to be alone when I need to be alone. But I also want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but nobody wants to talk about it. They're like, when you're done being sad, let me know. And I'm like, no, I'm not even sad. I'm depressed. It's also two different things. So
yes.
I just want to talk about it. Let me explain this to you. What's going on? And then maybe I'll come out of it. But the fuck? Yeah, it is. It's the weirdest thing to try to explain that to people who don't experience it. And so that's been part of my struggle too. And I own that because it's not as if I'm trying. I immediately told you because I can tell you. And then you immediately know how to just not ostracize me or do exactly whatever I need. And that's interesting.
Because I immediately reflect to how I have treated other people. So
yeah,
this is where I'm good sometimes.
Okay.
Because I do have like those choice few people like that will put up with my bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's because they do understand. Like they do understand to a degree. But there's no reason that I should be calling them and like swearing and freaking out and having like, these manic moments and manic episodes. Because they're like, what the fuck is this? How is this productive? And then when I calm down, I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I'm not like, and they always know that like my anger and frustration are generated from within.
Them.
Yeah, from within. I'm just trying to convey, like you said, I'm trying to get this out.
Yeah.
But I don't talk to people all that often.
Right.
So I don't have ways to even just like get a little bit out. So it just kind of gets to the point where I'm just like, motherfuck.
Yeah, when it comes out.
But this is when usually in those situations it's because it's triggered by something.
Yeah.
Like in those situations. More often than not. So that's why I asked immediately, like, is there something that we can tie this back to?
Yeah, totally. But, which I even appreciated just that because it allowed me as much thinking as I was doing on my own, even just to communicate, no, there isn't. But even being able to just say that to somebody, right? And know that it was okay to tell you that was awesome because I also knew that I could tell you that and you wouldn't argue with me. Right? Yeah. You said really funny things because we kept trying to think of what it could be. And that was funny. I think it was... Maybe it was the smoked meats. I was like, you know what? Smoking the meats was frustrating, but the meats are definitely not causing this. But even just to be able to talk about it. And so I was going to ask you, aside from maybe getting creative or kind of tapping into the creative process, what other things do you do when you either don't have somebody or you've tapped your resources, or even it's not a matter of having to go find somebody to talk to about it. That's one of the things that I know you and I like or want to do. But what else do you do that kind of helps you through those moments?
Oh, well, like this whole week, I just reflected on this whole week. I didn't do shit this week. I mean, I hung out with you, but like aside from that, like I just existed this week. I was like, no, I'm just not going to participate in whatever the fuck y'all are doing. I'm going to hang out with my dog. I'm going to derp around the house. Like I said, I was working on some music stuff, but
Yeah, you got
nowhere
creative.
near, like, I mean, nowhere nearly as hard as I probably
So
could
you
have.
gave yourself a break.
Yeah.
And like
Just my entire body.
knew
like,
that you were okay to do that.
Yeah.
Like, gave yourself permission to just
yes.
chill.
Because
I
for
dig
me,
that.
I'm like, I don't have any paid time off. I don't have anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so for me, a week off is just like nothing's happening.
You're not making money.
We're
yeah,
just shutting it all down.
for
And
sure.
I'm fine with that. There has to be times where I'm just fine with that.
Yeah. Okay. You're like Kyrie not getting the vaccine and just going, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm just not going to get paid for any games I'm not allowed to play.
Yeah.
You're just fine with that.
Yep.
You're basically Kyrie. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're profound like him too, I suppose.
I try to be.
I hear he's
think
profound on Twitter. I don't pay attention to that.
I think I am, right? I have this
no, I
inflated
agree.
ego.
No, I can appreciate that. I think that's, again, another lesson for me is to also just know that it's okay. Because I do definitely put a lot of pressure on myself for just being available and being present. And, you know, again, like if you were to ask people around me over this last week, I mean, and you got to hang out with me a few times, but even like, and see me in other settings where other people were around, I don't think most people would immediately like identify as like, that girl's depressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like some of it was like, none of that was fake by any means. Like when we were playing in the park on Thursday, I was totally enjoying hanging out and playing in the park. It doesn't mean that there isn't still that weight somewhere in you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that's something that I feel like I can see you relate to, or that I've related to you, where I know you're going through something and you're processing something, or you have a weight that's associated with this, but you're still functional.
I guess for me, how do you put that feeling into words? Like if there was a way that you could write it down.
Oh my gosh.
Or if there was an action that you could take that would reflect what that feeling is. So like there's this one song by this band I See Stars, and it's absolute insanity. Like it's crazy. It's not the craziest song in the world, obviously, but when people sometimes are like, you know, if you could depict that some way, it's wild. Like this song is totally, it's up and down, it's all over the place.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is kind of what it is like to be in my head. And they're like, well, it's all over the place. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, it's fucking all over the place. It's up, down, it's rage.
That's such a great way to put it. Yeah. Because I think that's also what makes it hard for people is because I've used this word for you because you and I have had some experiences even while you've been here. And I can say that I've appreciated all of them just because, again, I think the spectrum of ourselves as humans is, at least for you and I know, is wide. I'm not just, you know, this single dimensioned person, like never have been, never will be. And so like we both refer to each other as a lot, like we're just humans that are a lot. And so I think, you know, I've used the word manic before and you just used it too, that like when you have an experience, you know, that you're just in a manic state, and like I can relate to that in my head, especially internally. So when you ask, how do I describe this? You know, it's such a wave of different types of emotions that happen, because sometimes they can be like really angry.
That's what I told you. I wanted to go out into the fucking desert.
Yeah, and we were gonna go scream. I know.
Shit.
We can still go scream and break shit, because then I will go from that to like a deep sadness, and like that's where people get real freaked out, because then they're like, but why are you sad? Why are you crying? Because now there's something visible, right? Why are you crying? And I can't answer that question, like, because it's not like my tears are because this happened. No. I'm compelled to cry in this moment, right? And it's it's, that can be really confusing for people. And then I can be okay for a little bit, like, and okay meaning relative, like where you're not seeing an emotion come off of me.
I think for me, when I think about it, like I said, I always try to find an answer to these things.
Yes.
Because I'll have those like huge mood swings as well. But the thing is, we're social creatures, so we want to just be seen or heard. So whatever's inside of us, we just want to get it out.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like one of those, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around.
Right.
But I guess it was interesting. I think we had a conversation the other day where you were talking about there being an audience or somebody else perceiving what's happening.
Yeah.
So for me, in those moments, I feel at my most vulnerable. I can sit here and talk about them now in a cool, calm, and collected way. But when it's happening, people have no idea what to do. They're like, is this person going to like kill somebody? I actually had somebody. This is super fucked up.
Yeah.
No. I had somebody fucking tell me not too long ago that I had tendencies like a killer. And I was like, the fuck? Like,
was it the highs and the lows?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you exactly what it was, but
that's
like
interesting.
But it's annoying. Well, it's just annoying because like,
did we just make this a crime podcast again?
Maybe.
Sweet.
Right? Yeah. I was like,
true crime.
I have dressed up as Dexter before for Halloween.
I still have to watch that show.
So I think it's because they see the rage, and it's from their own experiences. Like, they've probably seen people hurt and stuff like that. But the unfortunate reality for me in my past choices is that I've demonstrated that I take all of that out on myself.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I don't carry my cast around from my hand or anything, but like, I've shattered my hand. I have scars all over my body. Well, not all over my body. I've obviously seen worse, but they're noticeable.
You have scars, absolutely.
Everything's noticeable enough. I obviously try to kill myself, so it's just like I get upset.
Yeah.
And I this is why I need to try to not. I'd like to contain that, or at least not have it be around other people, right?
Yes.
So go out to the desert or whatever.
Totally.
But then them seeing that, like, there's some people that see it, but the other people that aren't there for all of those episodes, right?
Yeah.
They don't know all of this.
Right.
Like, they don't know anything.
Yeah, they don't have context.
Yeah, there's zero context. So
yeah.
I see this person like with this like uncontrolled rage. And then for me, I'm like super sad about that, because I'm like, this isn't the impression that I want to be making in a social environment with anybody, romantically, friends. Like, I don't want to be making them uncomfortable like this.
Right.
So like, I spin out of control.
That makes it worse for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like for me, but like that's my way of rationalizing like what's happening, is because I'm like, now I'm super upset. Especially like I said, there's people that I'm screaming at these people. It's like, I don't want to be yelling. I'm like, because I'm not mad at you. I'm mad about the situation I'm in, and like I'm asking you for help, and I'm basically asking you to make me a priority. I'm asking you to make me a priority in your life. Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that that's inconvenient for you, and I know that that's selfish of me, but I'm sorry. I need your help. And so
that's such an interesting one, right? Because I think you and I have talked again about this, of some of those similarities. We've talked a lot about trauma, you and I, and not wanting to be the source of trauma to other people, right? Like, oh my God, we already know what trauma is like and are going through our own journeys to kind of understand and then deal with our own traumas, but then we cause them on other people because we're animated. And I think that's the part that frustrates the shit out of me, is that what you think all these other people that we're surrounded by don't have issues, right? And don't have their own trials and tribulations. And I can't say everyone has, some type of clinical depression, but I know like a lot of people do. Anyways, I can't figure out how to also help other people understand that's who we are. And then we try to manage that, right? Where it's like, you're right. I don't want everyone to have to see it. And not because I'm trying to even cover it up. It's the like, I'm expressive. I'm too much. I'm passionate. I'm a lot. I'm loud. I want to go scream in the desert sometimes. I want to break something. I want and not even because I have an anger issue, because that's immediately how it would be perceived, is that we have issues. And don't get me wrong, you may have your issues, I may have mine, but this immediate desire to express ourselves, we are creative fucking people and we express ourselves.
Well, all people are. That's the thing. It's so...
And we've just decided to not only tap into it, we fucking live in it. We fucking live in it, T.
Yeah.
But that's why people also gravitate at any given point. When I am at my best, I cannot get people not to gravitate to me.
Yeah.
Right? And so all of a sudden that's great, right? I'm a fucking magnet for the world when I'm on my high, right? And you can't expect somebody who's that high to also be able to be that low. Duh.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, and that's why they have these pills are basically meant to just bring you to, it's like a
fuck those pills.
So it's like a compressor. So I was talking to you about the compressor earlier. That's exactly what the fucking audio compressor does. It just balances out the highs and the lows.
And I want the highs and the lows. I really do. Now, don't get me wrong. This last week, I don't like feeling that way, but I also wanted to acknowledge that maybe that's okay.
Yeah. The highs and the lows are great.
Yeah, maybe it's okay.
I fucking so hard that somebody fucking wants to dig their nails into me and make me bleed. And me, I don't even care. It's not even I have this hurt me kind of thing. It's just it's just we're going at this, we're pounding, we're loving so hard.
We're expressive humans,
yes.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's also been a really good reflection for me that I don't know if I've ever actually done, and you kind of helped me do that through this, what I guess I'll refer to as a bout, if you will, of, again, I don't like the uncontrolled, unknowing reason why I hit what feels chemically induced low, but at the same time, I really wanted to move through it, with grace, because, knowing that it was okay if I cried, it was okay if I screamed, I'm with you on I don't want to funk up. I think I told you that I funked up my household or the energy coming off of me. And so it was maybe finding the right people to be around during that time, or maybe going to my partner in a different way. That's a whole nother conversation, because I'm just not sure how to do that, because he doesn't have the same experiences as me. And so I'm not sure how to do that. And maybe I can learn that, but not wanting to funk other people up, but also know that this is who I am, because I think I have to feel this in order to be as high as I can be, right? And I feel like that is where I kind of meet you, is I can see you as this just unbelievable, outgoing, magnetic. I think Safe has said it. He can bring you into places and just people will just gravitate to you. And they really do. I've watched that when you're at your best, right? Mm. I do too. And then when we're at our worst, holy cow, we can ruin a room so freaking fast.
Oh, yeah.
Just by looking in the window. We don't even have to walk in the room.
Look what happened when I instituted the silent treatment for 24
hours. Just our presence, right? Just our presence can just completely funk things up. And so it's terrible.
I'm just thinking about it.
It's funny to laugh about now, for sure.
There was an epic meltdown, over me not saying anything. Right.
So maybe this is our destiny. This isn't terrible. This isn't bad. We have to figure out how to harness this. That's our goal, T, is maybe a little less manic, right? We're reading about trauma and what we're going to do about trauma. That's important, and finding outlets that don't necessarily, I think, that don't create more trauma for other people, but I think it's also okay for other people to be a little uncomfortable too. I think that's good. We just have to figure out how to use that in the best way possible. And I think you and I are both still learning that. Trial and error.
Well, yeah. I think there was an interview with George Carlin. I mean, you can just look it up on YouTube, where he was talking about comedy. And I know I'm not going to exactly get the quote right, but it basically, he was saying knowing where the line is and then getting people to come across it just enough, just enough to see your point of view. Right.
So, okay.
So that's where when you tell me that type of thing, I appreciate that you're even saying anything. Because
Yeah.
for me, then it's just like, okay, well, like, what do you need? If you don't know where it's coming from, what do you need to get over it? So like for
Yeah.
me, like I'm fine with, I could just spend the whole day laying around with my dog.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
Right.
To me, that's bliss.
Yeah. You've been awesome because like for me, it's like get over it is maybe synonymous with get through it because I want to work through it, right? Because I do think it's a process. And you've been awesome because for me, one of those things is also trying to be physically active. And you've been an amazing person to come and do that with me so that I can be physically active and talk because I have to do both of those things or I want to do both of those things. And both of those things are
Yes.
therapeutic for me. And
Right.
you've been incredible for that. And I appreciate that because dang, yeah, I needed that. But I'm trying to figure out still. A lot's obviously gone on. We needed our mental health break. I have two things that I want to work towards. One is about you and one is about me. One of them is how do I get you to stay in Arizona longer? That's one of them. That could be a whole nother episode. You want to record tomorrow night? That could be a whole nother episode.
I feel like we're gonna have to give some people behind the scenes details on why I'd even be leaving.
But maybe
so
that's the
abruptly
next
in the
episode.
first place.
That's the next episode. We'll record again. Is one, I want you to stay longer. And two, I want to figure out how to better approach people who don't relate to my feelings or my experience or what I'm going through, to be able to at least help them understand without feeling pressure or fear necessarily, maybe a little uncomfortable, but not full pressure or fear, to at least know what I'm going through. And I have to figure out how to better approach people. Those are the two things I'd like to start working on and make happen immediately. Since we're like at the end of a year / start of a new year, right? What do you want, T?
Yeah, I mean that's where, for me, usually by the time that I'm conveying these things to people,
Yeah.
it's pretty much like already too late.
You're at, code red.
Yeah, I'm at code red. So like I conveyed to like a family member recently, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need assistance finding somewhere to crash for just like a month.
Yeah.
Like I said, we can go and get an extended stay hotel, but
Sure.
whatever. Like this is not a big deal. This
You were
isn't
reaching out
anything-
asking for help.
Yeah, just asking for help anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And then like not getting any sort of actual like, what's the word? Empathetic.
Yeah, empathy. Empathetic response.
Is that it? Empathetic?
Empathetic?
Is that a word?
Empathic?
Empath. That's why I started. That's why. What's the word here?
I feel like we have so many screens and so much technology in the Dick Francisco studio. Something should be telling us right now, but nothing is.
Nothing's turning on and telling
Damn
us.
it.
Damn it. But
Where's Alexa of the future?
so like it's so funny because the post-COVID episode.
I know. I was
the
getting
Alexa,
I got to make a South Park reference.
Yes, the Alexa of the future. So that's for me. It's like, what do you need?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you
Yeah.
need now?
Yeah.
What do you need to get you where you need to be?
Yeah.
Comfortably.
Right.
Right? Comfortably enough to support yourself. And then you can take it from there. Right?
Yeah.
Until then, like, I'll be at your disposal. Like, I conveyed to Saifer recently. I'm like, I've had people stay with me. I've told, and they actually were under somewhat misleading circumstances. And they were maybe a little bit more desperate than they implied.
Sure.
Right? And
Sure.
so I didn't realize that. And if that, and so again, if they had gone ahead and just conveyed even that to me,
Right.
more like in that moment,
Right.
I would have done more to help them. I would have done even more to be like, look, like, fuck all that. Like, you being safe and comfortable and knowing that you have a place to sleep at night, that like nobody's going to come and attack you or rob you or whatever. Your stuff is safe. Everything like that you have is safe. Like, you're fine, and that you're going to be okay and you're going to be fed. Like,
yeah.
that's like it's the pyramid. What's the fuck is the pyramid? And at the bottom is comfort and support and safety. Like, you have to have that. And then after that, you can start to be
it's not the food pyramid because I
It's
think at the
not the
bottom of that is bread.
Yes. Yeah. It's not the food pyramid.
But equally so, comfort food.
Yes. Right. Exactly.
The
But
pyramid.
it's comfort and safety, and then I think the middle tier is something like productivity or something like that, and then the
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
is this the
That's exactly it. I think you and I need to do
so when something like that happens and you're fucking like
Right.
you could be on a top tier, and then if something like that happens that like your basic needs are fucking not there, you're like, okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna go real primal here.
Yeah, we're not even talking about that very top where I like to live and talk about of that self-actualization. That's always, and that's such a good put me in check because I'm usually coming from that space. But if you're not there yet because you don't have the building blocks for that to be at the top of your pyramid, we can't talk about self-actualization until you feel safe and secure in your being. Yeah, that's 100. I get that. I really get that. I think you and I need to do a follow-up episode. One, the behind the scenes of what the heck's actually going on about your status. That has to happen for everyone's sake. This is the spoiler, the teaser rather, right? For everyone to tune back in. I think we need, and everyone, calm down. You will get to hear about the eye surgery. You'll get to hear about foot fetishes.
Yes.
It's all coming.
Right.
But I do think that we need to do a behind the scenes episode to follow this one where you and I talk about that. And you and I need to talk about the concept of holding space, because I think for you and I, we are people who immediately respond, and whether that's good or not, to other people. And like, you're in need. What can I do for you? And we both are also able to say, like I've said to you, I can't be that person today. Right. And you've said to me, like, I'm working on this, like, but you've always been there kind of thing. But we need to talk about sometimes other people can't hold space for us. Right. And how do we handle that? But I think we should just talk about it in general, because I think that really relates to your circumstances right now, that you might be in a situation where you relied on somebody who couldn't hold space for you physically and figuratively.
Right.
So we also need to find you some space. But let's revisit that. I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
ASAP, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing for me. Like I said, I've talked about it in the previous episodes whenever we bring this up, is that I'm okay with talking about this type of stuff, because then anybody else that might actually be feeling that feels comfortable to talk about it. Right. So exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So because there's some people that just want to talk about it. They're like, oh, fuck, like, there are times that I'm like this, and if I could just convey that to somebody that's not necessarily a fucking therapist that gets paid to do this.
Right.
that,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Somebody that actually gives a fuck.
Yep.
And is going to be there after the hour is over.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of those things that can be misunderstood about us is that we can also acknowledge that not everyone is always and shouldn't always be there for us, because it takes a capacity out of someone else, and that it's okay. Like when I've told you, hey, I can't be there for you now, that doesn't mean I'm not there at all. Can, like, we can understand that about each other, and that's really important to me, and I appreciate that about you a lot.
And that's the thing, is sometimes people like that. The other thing is they're like, oh no, like I'm obligated to try and make him feel better, and it's just like, just say that you can't help him instead of just like not saying anything.
Right. Or pretending like you want to be and then dropping me halfway.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have it in you.
Yeah.
You got to tell me that you just don't have it in you. And that's okay.
That's right.
That's
like,
okay.
Especially if I'm moving 2,000 miles and just sold my house. Like, just say it,
Okay, that's the next episode though, T. That's the next episode. On the next episode.
Oh, I'm talking about the other one.
Oh, I know. We got lots to talk about.
Everybody's kicking my dick off over here.
Right? No, I think this was a really good, we're coming back. We got to come back. We've decided this is very therapeutic for us. We need to do this. We hope it's therapeutic for other people. And the motherfucking Dick Francisco studio needs to get used. So, T, we got to figure out how to keep you here. So this isn't the one and only sesh here. Right? Just saying.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of the snow and stuff back home, and I'm just like, I'd prefer to not.
Seasonal affective disorder is real.
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm fully aware, and it's cloudy there like all the time. So this is the other.
I know.
So I can definitely feel like I bounce back from things quicker here
Yeah.
with the sun.
It's for real.
With the sunshine and everything.
Yep.
So got to figure out what to do.
We got to figure out what to do. On the next episode,
right.
we have figured out what to do.
Yeah. If we had the other, the other thing, I'd have the suspenseful music queued up here. Bum, bum, bum.
And if there isn't a next episode, you realize we didn't figure out what to do.
You realize that T's probably doing his podcast out of his car. He's probably somewhere like in Nebraska or something, because I won't be smart enough to take the southern route.
No, there will be a next episode. Yeah.
Well, yeah, eventually, yeah.
Okay.
We've recorded this.
All right. Then I say that's a wrap. Do whatever you do. I'm busy drinking.
I didn't even do an intro for this
I know.
episode.
There's zero intro. There's zero outro. You know what? You all already know.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, suck it.
Suck it. You all know. Suck it.
If you found this, you can obviously find where all the information is at.
And you're the demographic we're looking for.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like if you stumbled upon YouTube, it says right there that you can find us on Facebook and where to search for us.
Yeah.
So
Why do I have to tell it to you?
It's in the description.
I don't.
Just go to the show notes.
Yeah. Notes.
We're out.
Out.